Takealot bought us. But what Kim said, which was right, he said, you don't know how much money you need. So like that 40 million rand thing is wrong. Come into the business, take shares of Takealot and just be a division of, which was the right call. There's arguably nothing more important or few things more valuable in business than speed, assuming you're executing well and not rushing and like launching something that ends up blowing up in your face. Speed is remarkably important.
So good morning and welcome to this episode of Business Unusual, the Topco podcast. And today it's going to be pretty unusual. We've got Claude Hanan, one of the co-founders of Bash.com. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I think we're really super interested to hear like the future of retail, e-commerce, entrepreneurship, corporate life, but maybe just take us to sort of what got you to this point, because many people know you as the co-founder of Bash, but sort of how did you get here and sort of what's the backstory?
Cool. Morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So my business partner, Luke Jadakin, and I started what was City Mob back in 2011. I don't know if you remember the group buying days.
I do. I was a voucher buyer.
Yeah, a voucher buyer. So at that point in time, Groupon was the fastest growing business on earth.
Yeah.
I read about it in a Fortune magazine.
Where were you?
I was on an aeroplane on the tarmac in Greece.
Okay.
And it...
Out of money or just bored?
No, I was on family vacation.
Okay.
Family vacation, reading the Fortune magazines, thought this was interesting, forgot about it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And came back. We were 27 at the time.
Okay.
And I asked a few friends if they'd heard of this Groupon product.
Yeah.
And very few had.
Yeah.
One of those people was Luke.
Yeah.
And so, again, we left it for a month or two, and then after a bit of pressure between one another and a few more discussions, we thought, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
And this was like 2010 World Cup, South Africa World Cup time, middle of the year.
Yeah.
Between those conversations and actually launching the City Mob website, it was a very simple thing to launch because you sold vouchers. There was nothing to fulfill.
So you thought?
So we thought, yeah. Between thinking about it and launching it, there were 46 clones in the market by the time we launched. There was Daddy's Deals. There was Groupon itself.
Remember their Daddy Deals?
One Day Only is one of the guys that they pivoted and have survived and flourished. But 43 of the 46 died, let's say. So immediately after we launched, we were like, oh shit, there is zero differentiation here. And I think that's part of a theme since then, our paranoia, because regardless of how the business was doing, and it was quite amazing to see, you launch new deals every day and these things sold. We were doing way more volume. We got way more traction than we thought we would.
Did you think I'm rich?
I didn't think that then, no.
No, okay. Did you think we're going to be rich?
Yeah, we're going to be rich.
We're going to be rich.
Yeah, this is working pretty well. This is great. Then we got nervous and we met up with the guys who founded Want It All way back in the day.
Yeah.
Justin Drennan and his brother. And they helped us thinking about fulfillment. And that's like traditional e-commerce fulfillment, because our view was if you fulfill, it's complexity, it's a barrier to entry, and then we won't have to deal with the 40-odd clones in the market. And so we wanted to move to a more traditional e-com model. Suppliers hated group buying, so the brands of the world, the Nikes, the Addies, or take your pick, they didn't like the discount model. We had to rebrand. We rebranded to Superbalist.
And how hard was that? Because, how did you choose a name?
Customers hated it.
How did you choose the name?
So Luke chose the name. It
Yeah.
was he chose the name of Superbalist and Bash, slightly different processes.
Yeah.
But consulting with we've always wanted .com domains, so that kind of reduces the
opportunity.
Yeah, the world of what's available.
Yeah.
And look, Superbalist was flawed in its name. Superbalist.
Yeah.
Superb. It just didn't flow off the tongue. It didn't
It's
pass.
long.
It didn't pass the radio test.
Okay.
Spelling, double L's, but it eventually became a household name
Yeah.
in SA. And choosing Bash, we did not want to fall into that same trap. So
Okay.
we eventually found a 4-letter domain that can't fail.
Was the goal 3 letters or was it always 4?
Four. Yeah, I mean, max 5.
Max 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
But then Superbalist was launched, and we very quickly realized the need for money, because so we moved to this model of traditional e-com where you had to fulfill products, a more complicated website, more complicated operating model.
Yeah.
We needed to fulfill orders. We weren't that good at fulfilling orders. I remember one Christmas, because we would field customer contacts.
Personally, you did personally?
Yeah, because there were only like 10 of us in the office, and around Christmas peak season,
Yeah.
there was hundreds of orders we had to get to the destination. And I think it was the CEO of Sanlam at the time.
Was he an investor?
He wasn't an investor. No, he was a customer. He was contacting me. I was speaking to him about an order that hadn't arrived.
Yeah.
And I think I researched like who he was beforehand, and I was super apologetic. And I thought I would reason with him and say, like, look, we just businessmen, and we're like trying to contribute to South Africa or something. And he said, don't you talk to me about contributing to South Africa. So, we had some pissed off customers back in the day. But sure, we've come a long way in terms of customer support and the customer experience and the service design of what we've built. And e-com has flourished from what it used to be.
Yeah.
Like the general experience, if you look at like a 60-60, it's remarkable. And I think we can talk to that. That's a lot of the reason why the space has grown so much.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's more convenient.
Yeah.
And it's reliable.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case 10, 15 years ago. And you can access this on your mobile device. Which really wasn't the case when we started. So we pivoted to Superbalist. We realized we needed money. At the time, Zando was well funded. I don't know if you remember. Zando had Rocket Internet behind them.
Okay.
Big money. Spree was funded by Naspers. Takealot had just raised $100 million from Tiger Global. And then there was bootstrapping, privately held Superbalist. That
2 young guys.
Yeah, if we wanted to survive, it was clear we needed money.
Yeah.
And there began our fundraising.
And did you know how much you needed?
We thought we did.
Okay.
We thought we did. At the time, we were trying to raise between 30 and 40 million rand.
Sure.
Which back then, in today's value, probably closer to 80, 100 million.
Yeah.
But then in part of the process, we did a DD with Naspers.
Yeah.
Took 6 months. Failed. It failed because one of their international businesses had an investment in a business similar to what we were building, and that was starting to show some signs of weakness.
Okay. So weakness means no, but strength sometimes also is a no, because then they're like, no, we're going to go with this guy instead, or...
Yeah, look, I think it was pretty devastating. We got taken for coffee down the road here in the CBD. And,
Who took you?
Like the M&A guy at Naspers. It's like, how's it going? Like the deal's off. We're like, what? It's been 6 months. What are you fucking mean?
I've told my whole family. Everybody knows.
Yeah, and we actually, I think it was the first birthday of Superbalist, because we went back to the office to cut the cake. And it was just the most morbid. I mean, internally for us, we hadn't told anyone. There was certainly no celebration. Then we very quickly found this other UK crowd, hedge fund, family offices that were interested. That process took 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
It was like a done deal, so much so that they gave us a bridge loan. And then that failed at the 11th hour too. And I think at that point there was quite a bit of like calm almost.
Really?
Where after that, like a week or two after that, where we knew that we had maybe one final bite at this thing. And if we didn't secure funding, it was over.
Okay.
And we reached out to Kim Reed, the founder of Takealot, who had just raised
100 million. So you knew he had money?
We knew he had money.
Did you know him?
Didn't know him.
And did you think he was friendly to you? I mean, some people would have thought, oh, he's a competitor.
Yeah, so I think where we got lucky is that at the time, Flipkart in India is the Amazon of India and the Takealot equivalent of India. They had just bought Myntra, which was a fashion pure play business, similar to Superbalist. Okay. So that model was kind of in vogue. Okay. And Takealot had tried fashion on Takealot, and it hadn't worked. So I think he did want to try solve it.
Yeah.
The DD took 6 weeks. He personally did it with his CFO. So it was a very different vibe to the prior two, where you had these teams of lawyers and accountants coming in. It was clean, it was quick. Within 6 weeks, August 2014, Takealot bought us. But what Kim said, which was right, he said, you don't know how much money you need. So like that 40 million rand thing is wrong. Come into the business, take shares of Takealot, and just be a division of, which was the right call operationally. So then we get to work the next day and we're a division of Takealot.
And I mean, how did they structure it so they kept you motivated and involved? So one thing is the shares. Was it enough, or was it just the autonomy, or was it the vision of growing the brand itself? Or how did he sell to you guys not to just walk away and look at something new? Yeah,
look. I think we wanted to see this thing scale.
Okay.
And to his credit, we were an autonomous division. We had to grow our business, and for the first 9 to 12 months, we were left alone.
Yeah.
But then then some of the integration started. Some of it, or a lot of it, very useful to us. For example, moving into their DC, leveraging their last mile fulfillment capabilities.
Yeah,
that was really useful. Unlocking enormous marketing budget. That was quite a privilege. Spending
other people's money, or
it was other people's money, because there was big. They had raised a lot of money, and the whole group was still loss making at that point.
Yeah.
But to grow a brand, and to be able to run TV adverts and to spend generously on Google was a privilege, and we had to figure it out. And of course, we did it scientifically.
Yeah.
And the ROI was significant. So when we sold to Takealot, we were doing, I think it was 35-40 million rand revenue.
Yeah.
And when we left, we were on 1 billion rand.
Wow.
5 years later. So that compound growth.
Was that the point? Was like your vision? Because you said, we had a vision. Was it that? Was it to make it 1 billion rand, to build a 1 billion rand company, or?
I don't think so. We left because at that point, Naspers owned, I think, 96% of Takealot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite corporate, but it was going in that direction.
Yeah.
And also, we hadn't lifted our heads. I think that was quite interesting. We literally were heads down for a decade. And then you start lifting your head and having a few conversations, and you're like, well, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
And it had just it was just time.
Was it because other people were seeing the success of Superbalist, the grandiose of the marketing was obviously working?
It worked, yeah.
So it worked. I mean, what did you learn from the marketing? Because a lot of people are like, when things are tough, when you got no money, cut back on marketing. You guys, well, you had money, but you weren't making profit, and you doubled down on marketing. What did you learn in that period?
Well, sure. I mean, we learned a lot. We went through kind of like Navy SEALs training for running a operationally efficient business. The culture in the Takealot group was pretty cutthroat.
Pretty cutthroat. What does that mean?
Just like zero tolerance for mediocrity.
Okay.
Zero tolerance for...
So what would happen if you had mediocrity? Would it be like you're out, or would it be like...
Well, you get thrown out of a room.
Thrown out of a room?
You know, if they were if you walk in and you present a budget and there's a mistake in the calculation in one of the lines of the budget, sometimes meeting's over, because how can I trust the next 70 pages of the stock if you've got one line that's wrong? And
was that hard to...
Sure, it was super tough, but...
and is it stuff that you now fall back on, or is it stuff you're like, we can do this a better way, there's a new way of working?
So that was quite interesting moving into Bash and TFG, because we certainly came in hot
from there,
or even though we did have 1 year sabbatical, which happened to coincide with COVID. So we got quite lucky to have, in that we didn't have to operate in that COVID year.
Yeah.
But we only really knew one way of operating, having been there for 6 or 7 years. There's absolutely a better way.
Yeah.
But we almost, you can't go from one extreme to the other either.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of that, excellence, zero tolerance for mediocrity, I guess in Silicon Valley terms, it's kind of like the Steve Jobs, Elon Musk type approach.
Yeah.
Very intense to work there.
Yeah.
But also quite remarkable in terms of
results
and what it does to you personally. Like it lifts you to a level you didn't know you could get to.
Yeah.
And you meet like-minded people who are also operating at this like at the like do the best work of your career type environment. But it was unnecessary in ways that I think that there was a fair amount of negative second-order consequences that came from it as well.
Yeah.
So what we've tried to do now, almost like not intentionally, Luke and I don't speak about it.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of team members who were with us at Superbalist.
I was going to ask you about that.
At Bash with us. And I think we've kind of settled in a bit of a happy medium.
Uh-huh.
But we're happiest at wartime. You know, they speak about wartime versus peacetime CEOs.
Yeah.
We don't understand peacetime even when we're doing well.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenge because Bash has performed really well for like 3 years running now.
Like how well?
Exceeded expectations.
So when you
consistently.
So when you got there, it was doing...
When we got there, it was doing just under R1 billion turnover.
So that was what, 3 or 4?
That was 2021. So
4.5 years ago.
And we are forecasting to do about 5 times that this year.
Wow.
And more profitably. And just in general, all of the customer metrics are improved. So retention is up.
How important are metrics? I mean, I listened to All Hands from Elon Musk, and he was just rattling on about, I think one was about Twitter, and how much time people were spending a day on Twitter all over the world. Like he was going down to minuscule sort of metrics. Is that the sort of the impact that you've seen as well? Yeah,
that's how we operate. And it's very important to us that leaders see the front. I think is that military term. You, as a leader, you must know the detail, and that applies to Luke and I and myself too.
Okay.
So we understand the progression on a whole host of metrics. Personally, we have a remarkable data environment. It took us a long time to get that right, and I think it's very exciting the kind of foundations that we've built that TFG are starting to now leverage these data foundations. And, you know, with regards to all the AI hype, you're dead if you don't have those data foundations in place, because it's all like theoretical. You want to leverage AI.
So when you say data foundations, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the people? Are you talking about the systems, the technologies?
The actual systems and technology used to kind of extract, transform, present, and then ultimately interpret data across any number of measures, dimensions. So if you can think it, we can almost certainly measure it.
And that approach is what? It's taking you 5 years to get to this point. So what was the starting point to doing that? And did you have that vision? Is it like you had the end in mind from the beginning? Or is it like we build it as we go, uninformed?
I think maybe Luke is more likely to have had the end in mind. I just needed to answer some questions.
Okay.
It's like I can't answer that question yet. Okay, we better flip and figure out how to answer it.
Okay.
And also the people. So we pulled in our head of data from Superbalist days in the very beginning.
Okay.
I think that's maybe the direct answer to your question. The starting point is the people. How do we do this huge thing? Well, let's get that person who we've worked with in the past, or let's go find someone who we think can do it. And you bring them in and then you incentivize them properly.
What's properly?
Well, absolute values aside, the outcomes must be rewarded.
Okay.
So go and create this and you will be rewarded, and allow them to control their destiny. I think that's what I mean by properly. Don't link their incentive to something that they can't control.
Okay. So I'm just thinking off the cuff that you're gonna create something that some people will think is impossible. And you're going to tell this person, reach this impossible goal, and then you'll get an outcome.
Well, the people we hire don't think it's impossible.
Good.
The people, but many other people within the market, or maybe internally within the broader group, thought it was impossible. But we hire like-minded people who are ambitious.
Yeah.
And we all collectively strive for this thing.
Yeah.
And where were we? I think defaulting younger in terms of the cohort of people we hire has been super valuable.
Younger people.
Younger people. Just because, I mean, we even see it today with everything that's happening in the AI space. The slightly more technical, I mean, I'm 42 now. Slightly more technical, younger generation just show me up time after time.
So what's slightly younger? 20s or
late 20s graduates.
Graduates, straight out.
Yeah, I think.
So funny
we have no issue with that.
I did a sort of breakfast brunch for our top customers, our 50 top customers. Ended up being about 100 people that came. And one of the questions, they had like an open platform, and one of them asked, these young people, they work so differently. How do we work with them and bring them in? I was like, are you joking? Like, that's the biggest opportunity you have, is to work with young people, because they're going to disrupt you and bring ideas.
Yeah. You have to, you do have to listen and make it exciting for them. And like there's a humility. It's a bit of a weird thing, because I don't know if Luke and I would be described as humble, but internally I would really like to think we are. Like I mean, so I meet every single new starter within 2 months of them joining. And I encourage them to let it all out. Like, where do we suck? What did we do badly? What process is falling short? And that feedback I take immediately back to our leadership team and personally try implement the suggestions. So it's like that kind of paranoia and wanting to retain the top talent sincerely, because that I fear that if we don't, our performance will slip.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you're just focusing on performance, I think it solves so many things. The sports analogies are always so good for this. It's like,
I love it. Yeah.
You need to bring in your, like go find the top performers and then flip and keep them happy.
Yeah.
But you need to be careful because there's that concept of divas where sometimes a really talented individual can just be flipping hugely disruptive and cause chaos. So it's not like a blank check.
Yeah.
But staying humble, listening to keeping staff happy is really pretty important. There's often that thing where people try play like shareholders, employees, customers in like an order of
customers king, or like the CEO says my people are the most important asset, and then the staff are meant to say that the customers are most important, and so like this hierarchy of who's actually the most important to different people.
It's probably just the wrong way to think about it. I mean, you need to you have to get all three right. I mean, your
stakeholders, people and customer,
and so we got the right people in. We held them to account. We collectively drove towards this goal. Our stated mission internally is to transform South African retail, and we can unpack that. So combining technology and individuals and exceptional individuals to transform retail. And we don't believe our competitor set is doing that necessarily. For the most part, some are. But they're not harnessing technology. And they're not leveraging the exceptional, typically younger talent we have in the country.
So weird.
In order to transform retail. And in doing that, we've made customers happy and ultimately made shareholders happy. So, we digress. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's like spot on. I think, look, we do the future of HR as well. And I think one of the things that was really clear to me is there's so many exceptional leaders coming from South Africa. There's so many exceptional people who join international companies and really thrive. And for the longest time, I was like, geez, how do we stop this talent getting out? And it was clear that it was young people. It's not necessarily the most experienced older people. It's the young people. And so it's like, well, how do we get the most out of the talent we have? Because we have got an exceptional system of developing talent in this country. And so giving them that opportunity. We speak to a lot of entrepreneurs and people trying to grow their businesses. And there was three things that really came out for us when we were looking at what their challenges are. And so one was access to markets. And I think probably one of the reasons you started bash.com or founded it. The other was access to talent. People struggle to get the right talent and to invite them in and to keep them, actually. It's a big, big challenge. And the other one is access to capital. So how do you get the funds to grow these awesome companies? Obviously, Reed had something he knew more than the rest of us.
So I think that's spot on. Those are huge. Those are huge challenges, and you need, without capital as a startup, you kind of, I mean, it's just about impossible. Well, in this day and age, it's getting easier. Like
you think it's getting easier?
Well, I think the number of 1, 2, 3 man shops who actually achieve traction will increase on the back of all these advancements in LLMs and agents. But so I guess we had scars on raising capital. That's why our second foray into e-com, and it's become more than that, but it started as e-com, was why don't we leverage a business that already has all the things? So you don't necessarily need capital.
You leverage networks. You leverage the network, which is what TFG had, which is their customer base.
They had customers. They had 120,000 or have 120,000 SKUs. They have a in-house credit offering. They've got the largest quick response manufacturing capability in the country. They've got 3,500 stores. So like combined, that's pretty attractive. And what you find, for example, compared to pure play businesses today, I think our return rate's around 11%. 70% of those returns get dropped off by the customer in store. Now, that's amazing for your P&L versus a pure play where you have to go collect those returns. There's all these benefits. 45% of all orders are click and collect. Customers go to the store to collect the order. In a previous life, that was closer to 15 because there wasn't this network of stores. So without a doubt, it's easier to scale. And that was really how we thought about it. We did think about pivoting entirely away from retail, but we love it. We also weren't ready to go back to like ground zero from a skills and capability perspective just yet.
So, I mean, there is that, because there was a whole thing in the UK. I saw like all the shops are closing down, and you saw it in bookstores. And now, geez, I love going to exclusive books. But and so is it that looking at the assets that you do have and then nurturing that and getting the best out of it, or is it? I read somewhere that you did a lot of research or do a lot of research, and research is your big thing, and looking at not the guys who are failing, the 99%, but the 1% who are succeeding with online and with retail, and then focusing on
trying
that.
to mimic it. Yeah. I think it's a benefit of being in SA. You can copy.
Wow, I so agree with that. So it feels like the problem in SA is we're behind the times, but it's almost like, well, we get to see what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Then we got the time to implement the thing that works or doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then you've got your Groupon story that then suddenly everybody else is copying.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote the word down, speed. Is that something? So although you found a niche in terms of finding something a bit more, harder to do, is it that speed's also important to you now? Or
yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's arguably nothing more important or few things more valuable in business than speed. If you assuming you're executing well and not rushing and like launching something that ends up blowing up in your face. Speed is remarkably important. But we back ourselves. It's more execution.
Yeah.
Because copying effectively is hard.
Yeah.
So you got to move pretty fast, but just doing it, just like half the battle showing up.
Yeah.
So Next PLC is probably the best example globally of a legacy retailer that has turned into a digital powerhouse, an omni-channel powerhouse. And the combination of the two is the most possible. Stores aren't dead. It's just that e-com as a percent of total retail sales in South Africa in the Superbalist days was 1%.
Yeah.
Today it's on the way to 10.
Yeah.
It's growing fast, but where does that get to? Maybe 20?
Yeah.
It's not getting to 60. So stores aren't dead. It's the combination of the two. And that's what I mentioned. It's not actually. So firstly, Omni's where it gets to.
So Omni is what? For people who don't know what Omni is what?
Omni-channel is shopping across channels. So I guess it's a combination of e-commerce and stores, but it includes in-store digital devices, which we have in all TFG stores now.
You've got it in all of them?
In all TFG stores, where if you go to a store and you ask for a shoe and they don't have it in your size, well, the sales associates will bring out a device and say, let's buy it for you and we'll ship it to your house or back to the store. So you close the sale there and then. It's kind of meeting the shop. Omni's meeting the shopper where they are. With numerous payment methods across devices, mobile, desktop, in person.
How much of an impact has that made, that small thing of
it's been very, very positive. It's been very positive. And if you think about it, it allows like higher trading density. So where you previously would have missed a sale, you're now making a sale.
Yeah.
Where a customer would have potentially gone to a competitor, you're closing the sale. And there's very little incremental costs associated with it. Okay. We traveled to Brazil 3 years ago, and all of the store assistants have like a lanyard with a device. And so find what you want in store, or let me help you buy it online.
How hard is that to convince traditionalists, because investing in something like that, and there's a trust thing, there's an educational thing, and there's a belief like, will this even make a difference with this capex we're going to put in and the training and all that sort of stuff? How difficult is that to? So you got an idea, you see it, then you're like, okay, how do we bring this into?
Now you need to like scale it internally.
Well, also get buy-in.
And get buy-in, It's difficult. It's part of the challenge, I guess, with this digital transformation.
Yeah.
So I guess that was some of my earlier points. It's not just about e-com, and our influence and our passion is digital transformation across the legacy retailer, for want of a better word. And every legacy retailer has to go through this.
Yeah.
Now, it's very difficult. Yeah. And on the copying thing, we see who has done it the best.
Yeah.
We know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
We back ourselves to actually do it. So, speed is important, but we think most will kind of fail on the path. And getting buy-in internally is super difficult. You have to show the success. And I think where listed entities in general, where corporates struggle, and where Amazon have been so brilliant, the leadership principles and the culture at Amazon is just remarkable. The mind of Bezos is just really phenomenal, because he has so many like rules or like go-to principles that helped his team to bypass these big company limitations, the one of which is protect the new. Protect the new. Amazon executives celebrate 100, 200% year-on-year growth, even if it's a tiny business.
Okay.
Whereas in the traditional big business, it's so easy to poo-poo that thing. What are you wasting your time doing that for? And what that allows is for startup businesses to flourish, because that would have been AWS back in the day.
Yeah.
That would have been Amazon Prime, Kindle, whatever it is. It allows invention. Yeah. So it is very difficult, and it can be hugely frustrating. But it's part of why digital transformation is so hard, because you need the talent, you need to build the stuff, you need it to get traction, and you need the internal buy-in. It's like this multifaceted challenge.
I mean, we do Africa Tech Week, and I told you, and one of the reasons we did it is because we know the technology generally works. You know, Salesforce, HubSpot, it works. Is it working in your organization? Are the people utilizing it? Is there a culture? And so a lot of it that we saw was, is there a culture for digital transformation? And that comes from leadership, and that buy-in from leadership. How hard was it to get that buy-in to get Bash.com within the TFG group? Because obviously there's some learnings there. Was it a difficult thing, or do you think COVID was the perfect storm that helped you to have the case study?
So COVID adoption certainly helped.
Yeah.
But it's been a consistent challenge, and I think I guess there's so many angles to go to approach it from, but it's the innovator's dilemma, which is well known.
Clayton Christensen.
Yes, and I guess Netflix is maybe the best example of it, where they killed their DVD business to allow streaming to take hold. But there's so many dynamics of market share moving from one channel into the next.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the original channel in terms of capex? And you naturally get resistance. You're naturally going to get internal resistance, because incentives are such that individuals must do what is needed to grow their piece. It's ultimately a leadership responsibility to get it right.
Yeah.
So you need to, from the top down, there has to be an awareness and a change management capability to walk everyone through it together to reduce the chance of infighting and I guess blame game.
And do you find like it was that your experience from before? I read somewhere it was like a belief, and then it was like no, it's a methodology. And actually, what one was stronger? That was it the belief. Then the methodology was the execution tool, or was it the outside influence? Like you guys were coming in, something fresh, new ideas, new energy.
Yes.
And do you think consultants have a role in helping organizations like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a great question, because before my journey at Bash, I was hypercritical of consultants. but now I think as an independent body, they can add a lot of value to help businesses through some of these transformational challenges, because it helps to have an outsider like tie break certain discussions. We did benefit a lot from the momentum of joining. You know, Luke and Claude are here, and they're the ex-Superbalist guys, and that runs out like a year and a half in.
Okay.
And then luckily we had results to back it up.
So it's about getting results.
It's about getting results. And that was super scary. So we had like a bit of a botched launch in June 22, I think it was, where we were supposed to launch Bash. There was enormous pressure. You know, some of it we put on ourselves, but there were lots of eyes. We were migrating 15 websites into one. Yeah. And it was incredibly challenging. Yeah. And
so you failed? We
failed, yeah.
And what did you learn from that?
We failed on the timeline.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird that question. I'm not very good at like, I don't dwell on failures.
Okay.
And I mean, what we learned, I always think you can make, like, I arrive at conclusions pretty quickly, especially with regards to like individual capabilities and team cohesion. Yeah. So within Bash,
so your gut is strong for you, or
especially with this stuff. So within Bash, we've got like 45 teams, 40 teams of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people.
Why that small?
Very specific objectives and deliverables, and where you lose time is when teams have to intersect with one another. That's when complexity increases. So we've tried to build.
So explain that to me again.
So if you can give one team a project that delivers X and they can execute it end to end, that's your highest chance of success. Okay. But if that team can't deliver it end to end and they need team A, B, and C to come in at certain points, at those points is where complexity builds, because you've just got more overhead. The handover, collaboration.
Accepting in the hand.
Exactly. And then a bit of a back and forth. Yeah. Did you do this? And so that's natural. But we've tried to limit that with an element of success, but it's not always possible. Yeah. So where there is intersection, you then need to rely on candor, transparency, direct conversations, not like beating around the bush. And but if I would have to come with a learning, we probably could have pulled the team who was on it sooner, because we knew something wasn't going.
The team dynamic.
We knew something wasn't going well within.
It wasn't the people as individuals.
Yeah, and
how they collaborated together.
Yeah, and actually their approach. How were they approaching?
How was their approach?
The problem at hand. We think like from a technical perspective, they weren't going about it the right way.
How should they have done it?
I mean, it's like at a technical level, I don't know.
Okay.
But it just wasn't right, because the specific issue was relating to the 120,000 SKUs that we had to.
SKUs being?
SKUs, so actual unique products. Yeah. So a jersey, a hat, a pair of socks, across 15 brands.
Okay.
And
So you had to define it.
Each of these brands had their own way of storing SKU details. Okay. So there was this enormous job of consolidating and standardizing and feeding into our new system. It was technically super daunting. And, this is where obviously you're going to make some screw ups. So, look, I've got no regrets. In all, the team did an amazing job. We got it live.
Yeah.
And from that first week, this thesis of consolidating the traffic.
Yeah.
Because we had always said if we had to sit with a whiteboard in Superbalist days on which of the listed companies scared us, we were like, if TFG ever had to put all their brands together, that would be a scary proposition. Yeah. But right now, where they're each alone, in the online world, it doesn't work from a traffic conversion basket size perspective. Yeah. Put it all together, from week one, we exceeded expectations, exceeded targets. And in terms of the ultimate metric, and we rarely do look at hundreds, there's probably nothing more important than customer retention. Because if you're not retaining customers, you're treading water. So what percent of customers in any given rolling 12-month period are you retaining? What percent are churning and not coming back? Okay. And if you don't get that right, all your acquisition costs, marketing, is for what? And so how do you improve retention? Well, there's customer service, speed of delivery, quality of the product, quality of this experience on the website, on the app. We launched an app. The app is very popular. Yeah. The app is now 70% of all orders. The app didn't exist 5 years ago.
Crazy.
So
that was 5 years ago. App didn't exist, 70% of all orders. I mean, we spoke about Claude earlier and the capabilities of AI.
Yes.
What are you seeing as a future in the retail space in terms of transformation? What are the new trends that you are seeing? Obviously, that omni-channel is a big part of that.
Yeah. I think the real opportunity is in the basics.
Funny.
It is in digitizing the basics, applying these tools, the technology to the basics. So to, for example, merchandise planning, to buying. So AI, we joke internally, AI is like the boss that gets all the credit, and then the employee is ML, machine learning. The machine learning models are actually doing the work that the AI takes all the credit for. And so machine learning has been around for a long time within many industries, but it hasn't been applied at scale, in my opinion, across local retail yet. I mean, there will be pockets of excellence. I'm sure certain retailers have it. But communicating with customers, what do we buy? When do we buy it? How much of it do you buy? Fulfillment, least cost routing, estimating when something's going to arrive at someone, and then being able to offer expedited shipping for 60 Rand, or offering 60-minute delivery even. Using models to understand when you can offer that. So there's all these applications in retail. It's this intersection of logistics, technology, and buying, I guess. And
marketing?
And marketing. Marketing's huge.
Yeah.
For sure. Where are you deploying this money? And why? And to who? Yeah. And are you getting a return on it? So we're doing a lot of that within Bash. I think the opportunity is in rolling that out more widely. And of course, there's a lot of the buzzword conversation type futures like agentic shopping or shopping within LLMs.
I ask about that because there's like Gary Vee who's like, TikTok shopping or
yes.
I don't know what,
Yeah, it's not available in SA yet.
It's not, okay.
But the real money, the real impact, again, it's in leveraging what is there.
So your capabilities or your customers?
The capabilities, adding technology to or modernizing all of these traditional capabilities. I think, that's what excites me personally. And of course, there's going to be so many advances in the shopping experience.
Yeah.
But again, Bezos has this thing of when he gets asked that question, he says, "I'll tell you what's not going to change. Customers are they're not going to want their stuff slow. They're not going to want to pay more, and they're not going to want fewer choices. So like, offer a wide range, well priced, get it to them quickly." And of course, that can apply to an in-store type of methodology or metaphor as well. What isn't going to change? Just make damn sure you get that right. Yeah. Customer support's a big one for digital transformation and AI. And I mean, it can be super frustrating. I'm sure you've been in a loop with an AI call center bot. Yeah. So you need to be careful. Yeah. But the ability to improve the customer experience, to just make it remarkably seamless, is in theory easier than it's ever been. Yeah. You can kind of have this one-to-one customer experience. Even if you're doing 5 million orders a year and you've got 60 people in your support center, you can get way more personalized service than was previously possible.
So I think one of the interesting things about you and Luke is that you were entrepreneurs. You joined Takealot, and in a way you were still entrepreneurs within Takealot. And then you've joined TFG as entrepreneurs within a big corporate. So a fast growth company, then a big corporate. And I think that if it feels that South Africa, the biggest opportunity is digitally transforming a lot of, not just retail, because as we spoke about that earlier, but even like you can see it in the banking sector, you can see it in numerous sectors, that transformation is critical. Yeah. And one of the areas is how to link or partner or JV with entrepreneurs like yourself. What is needed from the corporates to invite entrepreneurs into their organizations to get them to help them? Yeah. And do you think they need to?
I absolutely think they need to. It's a culture clash.
It's a culture clash. But is it okay to say that? Is that maybe like the upfront contract?
Yeah.
Like we know you're X. I think one of the biggest things that we as Topco do is we bring academia together, government, corporate and entrepreneurs. And we see it. It's clear as day. Yeah. Corporates think a certain way. Multinationals think a way. Yeah. Public sector thinks a certain way in academia. And they all think they're great and everybody else is shit, just by the way. Yes. Right? So they've got some problem or some personality trait that's wrong. Yeah. And I think that what we're able to do is bring those people together so that there is some trust. But then past that, what have you learned that corporates can do to invite these entrepreneurs into this if they want to?
Yeah, and I think that, look, this is where TFG were ahead of the pack. Yeah. Because they did this. Yeah. And Anthony, the current CEO, was quite alive to this. Yeah. And it started off with a lab. It started off as TFG Labs, which is what Walmart have done and many other international businesses to try house this center of innovation. Yeah. I think it's just so key to get incentives right. So you can bring in the talent pool, but they want to be the masters of their own destiny. Yeah. They want agency. Yeah. Now, that box can be ticked. With regards to the rest of the org, they won't need to resist the lab. It doesn't have to be in retail, in any entity, if it's clear that the lab is actually helping them achieve their goals and their meet their incentives as well. Yeah. So in theory, there shouldn't be all this confusion or resistance, but as you're well aware, there often is. I guess that's maybe the frustrating thing, because if you actually strip it all back, it doesn't need to be. But some guys get it right. So in the banking space, I mean, if you take the culture of Capitec, for example, they've managed to get it right. So not all corporates are equal with regards.
They're fairly new, in fairness. They're 20 years old.
Yes.
So almost. The example I thought of was someone like Mr. Price. When they bought Yappy Chef, I was like, wow.
Yes.
But then the founding team sort of moved on.
Yeah, correct.
And now Mr. Price, when we spoke about this earlier, has now a big acquisition overseas. So it's almost like they haven't doubled down on what they've got here.
Yeah.
And they're dominant here, more in their share price than what they bought the asset for. And you're thinking, so that's an example of where they did have that policy of buying a tech-based retailer, but they couldn't retain the talent, and then they've gone back to the old school way of purchasing something overseas, which we generally see in South Africa doesn't really work based on experience from other corporates.
They've gotten a lot of pushback on that.
Pushback.
But you would think, and again, on incentives and holding everyone to account. So take C-suite at SA Inc.
Yeah.
Again, on paper, it's pretty simple because what is being achieved? How are profits growing? Are efficiency metrics improving? You don't just want digital transformation for the sake of it. So take the Yappy Chef example.
Yeah.
But what capabilities did Yappy Chef have that Mr. Price could have leveraged? And did they?
Yeah.
And did it result in improved, stock turn or some fulfillment capability? Because if that thing is humming on, all activities must result in some outcome that transparently shows progress.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, there's consequences.
Yeah.
Then you would think that these more rational decisions happen.
Yeah.
I think it falls down on the incentive and accountability piece, which I would really love for Listed SA to get better at.
And so Listed SA has got its own opportunity to engage with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs moving into corporates. It's not a big thing at the moment, but I think it's something that should be amplified. What changes did you and Luke make when you joined? Like, what are some of the adjustments that you made to make sure that you succeeded the way you did?
Well, I guess one of the learnings was maybe a bit naive. We thought at the end of the day, data will win an argument. And, it's not necessarily the case. What you say is as important as how you say it.
The story versus the facts?
Yeah.
People buy stories, they don't buy facts?
Yeah, and also timing is so important.
Okay.
So, but again, this is part of where I think, like globally, these big companies are in a spot of bother. Because you see like what Musk is doing, and Mark Andreessen and all these guys, they talk about it all the time, is like they're trying to optimize for how to cut through the decades of bad habits that bureaucracy has created. It's inefficient. It's not actually good for outcomes, for customers, for results. So how can you make decisions or organize your organization so that these things like data not winning arguments are actually no longer a problem? And the more startups, like with VCs and private equity getting as big as it is, funding all these new startups, they're taking market share away from these big organizations. So maybe that's like a different way of looking at it, because I think what I've learned is there are different views, and like you said earlier, everyone thinks everyone's a hero in their own story. Yeah. Everyone thinks the other party's the problem.
Yeah.
Let the results decide. And what's happening in America is that these smaller companies, once small, are taking huge share from these legacy businesses because of the speed, because of the transparency, because of the ability to actually move.
Yeah.
For data to win arguments, to just chase the truth.
Yeah.
And corporates in SA need that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to come from outside entrepreneurs, but they need it, and it's it's not an overly exciting place to work, which is a difficulty when it comes to attracting the talent we spoke of earlier.
Yeah.
And so how do these corporates create a hiring brand?
Yeah.
You know, and this is where the brain drain happens, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Because they would rather work overseas at Airbnb or Booking.com in Amsterdam than a corporate name
in South Africa.
In SA.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So
it's a problem. It's a problem for all the stakeholders. It's a problem for entrepreneurs, for corporate, and for governments.
How do we keep South African talent? And so we have to improve our corporate and, you know, employer of choice, South Africa employer of choice opportunities. What are we doing to make South Africa an attractive place for people to work in?
Yes. It's a problem, a challenge. Yeah. And we took great personal enjoyment from stopping some of that. Like we prevented some people moving abroad. But it's a tiny bit in terms, like our head count is 400. So, you know, maybe we've stopped 5-10 people leaving. Yeah. But more businesses need to do that. I mean, look, there are a few success stories, like a Yoko, for example. They're obviously way more. Yeah. But corporate SA needs to have that brand.
Of an employer.
Discovery is excellent. It's still founder led. Yeah. You know, they attract excellent caliber of staff. But maybe that's changing now too because of how big they've gotten and just like
the next opportunity is coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, we spoke right at the beginning, we were saying corporate South Africa, if you look at, like, I don't know, let's say the NASDAQ or the S&P or even the JSE top 40, it's evolving. It's always changing. That top 5, 10 spots always changing and evolving. And I think that's just playing into the fact that this progress all the time, you mustn't rest on your laurels.
Yes.
What's the advice? Because what you're seeing is movement, digital transformation, innovation, change. How do we help to wake up corporate SA to the fact that they are going to be left behind if they don't have an aggressive change culture?
Yeah, and I think at this moment, they must firstly fly to Silicon Valley and a few cities in China.
So go there. There. I heard China's the place as well. It's like unbelievable. So your advice would be get the CEOs, fly to China, fly to Silicon Valley.
And the board.
The board.
Send the board. And also because the rate of change now arguably is petrifying. We mentioned earlier these businesses are robust. They can take quite a lot, and
they were well managed.
The decline is not immediate, but it's pretty remarkable. The rate of change at the moment is pretty remarkable, but like we're overwhelmed as Bash.
Yeah.
We're a technology division. We're only 400 people.
Yeah.
We're drowning in trying to figure out what the hell, how.
Yeah.
So we've created an automation team whose job it is to automate processes through using all the newest tools. We've got an optimization and decision science team with applied mathematicians, machine learning engineers. But between those two teams is like 9 people. We've got a data team of 8. So between them and our engineering team, we're trying.
Yeah.
But damn, it's hard. So for these larger businesses to figure it out, it's daunting.
Why is it hard? Because there's so much coming on, you don't know what's the truth or not the truth.
Yeah, it's just very.
Or is it the overwhelming feeling, the nervousness of like, shit, we've got to figure this out? Like, I saw a post 3 weeks ago, and it basically said, 3 years at Bash, can you believe it? Was it a good decision or not? Look at the growth. And it was like remarkable. And then you say, and we've gone through all these things. And I think, geez, we still got so many more. But is it just the rate of change that's the problem? Or is it the the uneasiness of the change.
Well, you have to make you have to act. So you actually have to make a decision. So like fire up this team, hire this person, make their title that, let's invest in, let's take that approach using that tool. And so like that's scary, but you have to do it. And I guess you need to do it in such a way that you can experiment and learn and not risk the mothership whilst doing it, whatever that mothership is, but you have to be in the arena. Yeah. So acting is the most important thing. Yeah. So in terms of the advice, go see it for yourself, because I've got a good friend who's very deep in the private equity world, and he just returned from the States, and he said he felt like kissing the floor at Cape Town International just because of how insane the progress is. You know, he goes on company visits and he sees firsthand what's going on there. So go see it for yourself. Do something. Like you need a handful of good operators actually driving the thing. Yeah. This can't be a 2-3 year project. You need like monthly, quarterly progress and deliverables. And then the third thing, which is back to the earlier discussion, take the metrics seriously, because you don't need to worry about all of this stuff that much if your business is performing. It doesn't just have to be revenue and profit. Like, what's your retention looking like? What's your customer acquisition looking like? This applies to anyone. Yeah. Like, how are you treating customers? Are your costs increasing or decreasing? Like, what is your efficiencies looking like? That must dictate if you should panic or not. And so for those who are cruising, I guess you have to be slightly less reactive in this moment. You have the luxury of being able to take a step back. For those who are already a little bit on the back foot, of which I think quite a chunk of corporate SA is, the urgency around doing something about it is only increasing from here.
It's been amazing to have you on the podcast. It's been rewarding. I mean, you said that you're doing a lot of work with Claude at the moment and doing a lot of articles. Is there anything else you wanted to share that sort of is on your mind at the moment that you're writing about, that you feel passionate about?
Well, apart from my name also being Claude and going from the most obscure name to the most ubiquitous name in the world in over a year, I'm not actually writing at the moment.
How many kids are going to call their child Claude?
I'm excited at this moment just to get back into the business. We've been working on the business for the past 6 weeks. Okay. And I'm happiest in the detail.
Okay, so you prefer that?
I much prefer it. And we've just started the new fin year. Yeah. And we're excited. We're excited about solving a whole bunch of this stuff. Yeah. And we are as ambitious as ever, as paranoid as ever, I guess.
The paranoid survive, was it? Andy Grove?
Only the paranoid survive, yeah. And we are really happy with, I guess, the journey to date, but I guess there's another 15 years in front of us.
I mean, I heard you say you don't think you'll ever retire.
No. There's no Japanese word for retire, as I understand.
Is that fallacy been changed now, do you think, a little bit, where people are like, I'm going to make lots of money, be an entrepreneur, have a build it to R1 billion, gonna exit, do another multi-billion rand, and then I'm like, I can do whatever I want. Is that?
Yeah, good luck. I mean, I've never, that 1 year sabbatical, I think Luke spoke about it on another podcast. I was pulling my hair out by the end of it. Yeah. The first 2 months were great, and then I was just bored stiff. And I mean, I struggle with boredom at the best of times. I don't look forward to weekends typically. Okay. I like being busy. Exactly. So I don't think it's the best goal to set for oneself, or you need a purpose. So sure, the money aspects of retiring, having enough money to be like financially independent, sure, that's ideal.
Yeah.
But to not do much is not anywhere on my ambition list.
It was amazing to have you on, Claude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck to Bash for this year's 5X. So, yeah, we're looking for it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.